you all, but before we do all of that, I need to see your sons. And so Jesse started parading his sons around. And Samuel looked and he saw one that looked like a king, walked like a king, talked like a king, smelled like a king. And Samuel said, surely the Lord's anointed is before me. Why? Because he looked right. Because he spoke right. Because he carried himself like a king. But what you see is not what God sees. God says, no, I haven't chose him. He says, what do you mean, God, you have not chose him? He said, you know what, Samuel? Man looks at the outer appearance, but God looks at the heart. So you can look like you a man of God all you want to, but the thing about it is God sees you for who you really are. Some people may get caught up in the nice suits and the nice cars and all of this stuff because you look like you're supposed to be a pastor. I'm going to follow you, but God knows who you really are. And so God told Samuel, look, no, I have not chosen him. Now, it's amazing to me how the man of God couldn't even recognize who God had chosen. Here he is, the man of God, the one that God sent down there. He don't even know what God is thinking himself. So regardless of how close you think you are to God, you can't ever try to make God think like you. You can't will God's way into thinking the way you think. And God said, no, I have not chosen him. And so he said, look here, you done showed me 7 of your boys. But yet still God has not chosen either one of these that look like they supposed to be something. And he asked him, he said, look, do you have any more sons? In other words, he would say, do you have anything else to offer God? Is this the best that you got to show God? You showed me what looked good. You offered me praise and worship that looked good. You offer me prayers that look good and sound good, but is this the best that you got to offer me? And so the father, he was like, well, I got one more boy. He's outside tending the sheep. His nails might be dirty. He might smell. He might not even be too clean. So I really don't know why you would want to see him. And Samuel said, bring him to me. Now, what Samuel did, what they didn't realize is that the number 8 represents new beginnings. So here David is the 8th boy, the baby of the family at the time. Now that parallels to my man Joseph. Joseph at the time was the youngest one in the family, but yet still God chose him to lead the family. And see, sometimes you have to understand that God doesn't have a call on everybody's life the same way he has it on yours. And see, what David and Joseph experienced, they experienced their families not liking them, not wanting to be around them, not wanting to talk to them because of the anointing that was on their lives. So people in your family don't want you around. But whether they know it or not, their blessing is going to flow through you. So I'm like, you might not like me now, but you're going to love me later on. And so here David is, he's the chosen one. He comes up being a man of God. God had prepared him to be the king. He was anointed the king, but yet still he hadn't been given the throne because somebody else was already in that position. Here he is, he's a shepherd watching over